Shulchan's brachos, minimum brachos are very important to know. But the person isn't too much aware or awake. He makes a bracha. He might make a mistake in saying a bracha. Depending upon what the mistake is, depends upon whether he has to go back and repeat the correct bracha. For example, if he made a mistake and he made a beni mizanis on bread, instead of making a beni mizanis, in that case, since they're both the same family, the same category, he is Yitzchak. However, mitzvah covers everything, yet in its meal. A person makes a mitzvah on something which requires a shahakal, he is not Yitzchak. Not covered for the bracha. He has to say, oh, well, the bracha shahakal. If he made a mistake and made a beni kli ha'etz on a beni kli ha'adama, he is not Yitzchak. He made a etz on a vegetable, he is not Yitzchak because the eitz is exclusive. It covers everything that grows on the tree. The other way around, if he made a bracha double on that which grows on the tree, that's an inclusive bracha and he's yitzur. The same as making a shakal, which is yitzur, everything. Shakal covers everything, even bread. If a person is in doubt whether an item is an eitz or adama, and there's no way to clarify it, of course, nobody knows what kind of fruit this is. It's a strange, exotic Hawaiian fruit. The case is to be sure you make an adama with the yitzur. That's to be sure, in the case where it's going to be a special case, we have to have nothing else to be witness. Of course, if you have two items, you have, let's say, an apple and a banana, you move yourself in all doubts, because you make a bracha eitz and adama covers this fruit no matter what it is. It's the safest way to do it. The person who does that is called a chassid. You want to say the person must be chassid. How is he a chassid? He fulfills the mitzvah within brachos. The brachos are so delicate that a person who is covered himself completely, that person is called a true chassid. If a person has the person must first, before he makes a bracha, wield and say, any time that the first bigwig will say, the first thing of brachas, making a bracha, or eating without a bracha, or making a bracha without kavod, not the right bracha. The bracha should stick on one kind of bracha. So initially, a person should be very much medactic, very careful to have kavod before he makes the bracha to think. Allow time for a minute to think about to say Baruch Atah Hashem, Baruch Atah Hashem, if Torah to say Hashem's name, not to say it without Torah, not to say it without thinking without Kavanah. And also before you make the bracha, concentrate. What kind of bracha are you making? What kind of bracha is necessary for this item of food? It takes a couple of seconds but you remove a lot of potential isurim, potential awareness, that's a show. And a lot of snakes in your mind. Think, does this item require eitz, adama, shakal, or what? This is very good. If a person made a mistake, for example, he took a cup and he thought that this was wine. Honest mistake. He thought it was wine. It turned to be Coca-Cola. Dark wine he thought it was. And instead of turning, so he made a bracha, very clear geffen, thinking that it's wine. And when he got to Halacha Eilam, he realized, quickly he saw the bubbles in the Coke, realized it was shahakal. Which means that until Halacha Eilam he had mind to say that it cleared up. Now, before he finished Halacha, he changed his mind on and said shahakal was right. So he still gets it. Though the first part of the bracha was said with the intention of a room bracha, but he would not have been yetzer, because you're not yetzer with the burning up on water, another liquid. Still, when he caught himself before the end, he is still yetzer, does not repeat the first words. Kosher came, surely the other way around. The person took a glass of wine, and thought it was Coke. He started to say shahakal, realized it was wine, and finished with it. Surely yetzer, because even if he had finished the mistake, it would yetzer. The shahakal covers wine too. In this case, though, we learn from here that a person does not have to repeat the first half of the bracha. In fact, more so, we go a step further. The person finishes the bracha. So he finishes Birthday Gafin on this water, realizes that it's really Shaka. So in the same second, he says Birthday Gafin, and he says Shaka Nulai, to correct himself. That's called Tlachadei Gibur within a second or two. That is considered enough time to, as though he said the right bracha. Just repeating, just correcting those three words within a word, the evil within the word. All it takes is Shalom Lachadavi. It's about the second half or so. That period of time he caught himself right away, then he's able to correct it without repeating. If he did not correct himself immediately, that a second or so passed by, waiting himself afterwards, to make a new bracha if he intends to drink this cup. If he hadn't wanted to drink more than one cup, that is, let's say he said the bracha, but it had nothing. He realized that this was water, liquid. And then he realized it's too late. After it was over. You got to say over the bracha shaka. If he had intended to drink a bottle of wine, to drink more from that, then a bottle of, if there's wine, intended to drink the wine, and then take that wine and drink without a bracha. This bracha covers that wine. He intended to drink more than this one. He thought this was wine. He intended to drink 2 glasses. The bracha does not go to waste. He still take the rest of the wine in. Even though there was a long hefsek, he tasted this and found it was cola. He thought himself strange kind of tasting wine and so forth. And then he realized, this is actually not wine. It doesn't taste like an egg. So therefore, when they get the second glass, she did a second glass of wine. With this long hefsek, he still requires no bracha for the second cup of wine. That's an unusual case, but in that case, the need is fixed. Now, if the matter of Nimlach, we discussed the word Nimlach many times. This is a very vital thing because every person comes up with this question at times. Nimlach means that a person had intended to do something, his intention was to do a certain item. Nimlach, he thought it over, he decided to change his mind. Nimlach, he changed his mind, decided something else. For example, if he had his own house, he's the master of the house, the king of the home, and then he makes a bracha on a fruit. He has in mind, his mind is he's going to eat this fruit, and that's it. That was his intention, was to finish. Eat this apple, and finish, and then have to go away. He finishes the apple, and he says to himself, that was so good, I'll go for a second one. That's Nimlach. Nimlach means the new chapter begins. The same apple, let's say even a half an apple, cut the apple in half, he intended to eat only half of the apple, that was definitely the decision of his mind. The other half was on the table, right in front of him. He finished the half and said to himself, that was so good, I'll take the other half. The bracha he made in the first half does not cover the second half. In case of Nimlach, it's like nothing that covers the Nimlach. It must be a new bracha. That's it, it's definitely Nimlach. Now, if there is a case of suffix, and of course he had in mind generally, I make a bracha and I eat whatever I get. With the general thought that it doesn't matter what's on the table or not. But if nothing is on the table, I have the mind to eat. It's not the end of my food. The bracha covers all the subsequent food to eat. If in his mind he took the fruit, made a bracha that had nothing, his mind was blank, as happens many times. He asked him, what did you have in mind? I had everything in mind. Why? The mind was blank. Did you intend to eat more? You intend to finish with this? I don't know. What did you intend? Foolishness. A haze. A case like that, the mind was blank. This happens very often. Then there is a difference. If the time that he made the bracha, there was more on the table, then there's no bracha necessary. Bracha is enough for anything else on the table. If there's nothing on the table, they brought on the second item, and there is a new bracha necessary. If the second item was brought the additional food was brought while there was still something left on the table, he didn't finish his yet. There's a suffix whether he has to make a new bracha or not. In that case, then, because there's a suffix, better, best, to make a bracha, have in mind this bracha covers not just this, but if it is, covers all the food that he period. That way you relieve yourself of all problems. If he did not do that, here we come to a case where the din says, don't eat. Don't eat anymore. If there is something that you should make a bracha on the next fruit, the answer is, doubt, do not eat. These are a person literally stopped from eating. This is Hilchos Brachos. So in that case, the person should desist from eating and eat more till he makes a very delicious, walks away, goes outside, he's back for a walk, an hour or so later, and then a minute later, whatever it is, and he makes a bracha. All this thing is only said when, in the case of a person who eats who is the king of his house. Well, see, he's the master, supreme master, except his wife, of course. But if he is a guest, in somebody else's house, and he does not know what's going on in the mind of the owner. In other words, he says, whatever the other person at the table, I'm going to eat. He makes a bracha, his bracha, even without thinking, even with a blank mind, but not subconsciously, his blankness comes out, manifests itself in a manner where consciously says, whatever he will give me, I'll eat. I'll have a cup for it. So the bracha automatically is for everything that comes. No such thing. There's no such thing even as dimlach there. You can't say I can't. I think I'll eat again, I'll eat more or not. Because his mind is set on the fact that if I get nothing else, that's what I'll eat. If I get more, I'll eat more. This is the case of an oidayach, a guest, who is dependent upon the das of the balabais. There is a bracha on everything that he expects to get. This is what as a person comes to this world. The guest, balabais, is Hashem. Baruch Menachem Mendel Schneerson once said, Baruch Menachem Mendel was the uncle of the Arizal. Baruch Menachem Mendel Schneerson once said, the Gemara says, Kol Shema Balabais Asay, whenever the come to a person's house, the host, whatever he tells you to do, you must do. It's a separate mitzvah. He tells you to eat. Tells you to drink, you must do. You must obey the balabais. Tells you to wash before him, you have to. He's the balabais. If he's covered, you must take it. The worst thing is refusing it. The host must be obeyed. Should except one word. Say. The owner says, get out. He says out. You have to listen to him. It's a very mistake for it. How's that possible? When it says out, it says house. A lot of Mephoshim explain that Mephoshim, because he once said one case, interesting cases where a person is, the Gemara says that it's bigger mitzvah to answer Amen than to say the bracha. First says the bracha, let's say one that says bracha to Hashem. Amen is both Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, and Allah Ta'ala Yud. It's yichud of both. Therefore the Amen is bigger than you. So the Abaya says to you, you come to my house, I'll invite you to my house, and I'll let you be answer with Amen. I'll make a bracha, I'll eat, you be my guest, just answer Amen. How's that? That you don't have to listen to. Chutzpah, say, if you got the Amen, shall we call it? Everything you say says Amen, only, that you don't listen to. What Menachem Mendel said, that the pshat here is, this is the power of pshat, Chol Shema Balabais Asay. Bias is, there's only one bias. Bias, Bereshis, Beresh bias, the head of the world is Hashem. Hashem is the bias. Whatever Hashem says, I say, you must do. Must do, obey every command of Hashem. Hashem says, I say, do, place I said, do not do, kill Amalek. There's no thing as rejecting the word by Hashem. Everything Hashem says you must do. Everything Hashem says do. Except one thing. Hashem says to say, get out, I don't want to see you anymore, I don't want you anymore, that you don't have to do. Hashem says that there's Teshuva. We find that in the case of Ache, Teshuva, everybody do Teshuva except Ache. Except you got the Menavot. Don't want Teshuva. That Hashem says, do not listen to Hashem.
You go back and battle against Hashem, and be Menatzeach. Kaviyachol defeat Hashem. Menatzeach means to defeat Hashem, and Hashem enjoys that kind of a victory on your part. If Hashem says to you, as Hashem said, you feel you're trying to connect to Hashem and you're being repelled. You feel like there's no wrong reception. That's it. So no, Hashem, you want me? I insist. Chutz means say, except when Hashem says, get out of my chitza, then you go back and battle and fight and win. And you will win if you're obstinate and stubborn. So we said to something like yesterday's words. Yesterday when we said it, Yaakov Avinu Yaakov Ish Tam. Yaakov Ish Tam. Tam means perfect. But in fact, Tam is even greater than Tamid. We have to say Tamid means perfection. At the same time, Tam is dangerous because if you spell Tam backwards, that's the opposite of life. So what did Yaakov do? He took the word Tam backwards, nice, then tough, and he concluded Yaakov is Yaakov, which is Yaakov. He put that in the middle, then tough, mezuzah, then tough, and then put Zayin, well, Zayin. Well, that made the word emes. That's right. K, 26 is the letter Aleph, we explained 2 years above. And that is the word emes, truth, which is the mitzvah of mezuzah. Which means that what? That he broke up the word mes. There's no more mes, no more death, because he put Hashem into it, which is chai v'kain, which is life. We explained that the opposite, exactly opposite, is put by Esav Varosha. Esav Varosha is the opposite. We said he's a Rasha. Rasha is, what is Rasha? Rasha is not Yitzhak. Rasha is the evil. Esav stands for the evil. Yaakov the good, Esav the evil. And since he is the evil, the Gemara says that the word life applies to a tzadik. Tzadikim to be sosul kriyim chayim. The tzadik, when he passes away, he's called alive. They show him the chayei kriyim mason. Rasha, even when he's alive, he's called dead. So here we said Esav does not have this mezuzah. He doesn't have L'Shem Hashem. But Esav there is not life. There is mace, there is death, because Rasha, the chayei kriyim mason. Since Esav is dead, so you find that if you there's no life to him, because Rasha is dead. Take the word Esav, remove the word Chai, life, and you will have Nochash, the serpent. Shows what the essence of Esav is. This is still we mentioned yesterday speaking about the posek. Rosenfeld said, Chayes Alachem is what the mitzvah of Pesach. And then he changed the Achreish Hoylibo. Achreish Hoya, they will use the heart was stuffed. The Arizal says that the person who is bad has a stuffed heart or a heart of stone. The person who is good is never going to come close to the tzadik emes. That part of to a lay basar or a heart of flesh. Lay basar is Breslov. So Achreish Hoylibo, the person who is distant from the tzadik emes from Breslov is Achreish. His heart is stuffed with stone. That person, you change that to Arizal, there you have what? You have Breslov. Lay basar, the heart of flesh, which is the heart of purity, which gives zilcha, the emes become the skari to the tzadik emes, to Arizal, either blood or netzach. Netzach means forever. It's not the Arizal, it's able to say, and it is the extra thing about it. Then the Gemara says that it is strictly forbidden for a person to have any pleasure in this world without saying a bracha for it. Every pleasure that exists, that means legal pleasure, eating, drinking, sleeping, and so on, is from heaven, and it must be paid for with a bracha first. Otherwise, it is gezeilah. So just as it is forbidden for a person to have hana from food or drink without a bracha, it's also forbidden for a person to have hana from the sense of smell without saying a bracha first. This we learn from the posek, Koil HaNeshama Tahalal Koh. Not the body should give praise to Hashem, but the neshama. What is the neshama? What does the word neshama mean literally? Neshama means breath. Neshima is a person's breath. So which item is it that the body has no pleasure from, only the neshama, the breath has pleasure from the soul? That is the ilayach, smell, the sense of smell. And therefore, since we have that posek, you know that an item of that which the neshama has enough from has to say, a person say a bracha for it too. That's only before the hanoah. But there is no bracha acharena after it. Eating and drinking is the bracha acharena, because there is something which remains. The person eats, he still satiated, he still feels satisfied with the food. As soon as the smell passes by, once the odor has stopped it's passed by his nostrils, you no longer feel it, there's no further hanoah left whatsoever. Therefore, it is exactly the same as though a person ate, and then the food is completely digested. There's no hanoah left. There's no bracha. The person did not say a bracha acharena until the food is digested. There's no further chance to say the bracha. Here too, there's no bracha for the layach, the hanoah of remigos. Once it is gone, there's no remains of it. You cannot say bracha acharena on it then. There are different types of brachas, different types of reiches. We'll discuss that later. Let's talk about zachet to feed our neshama, the emes, with the zene, the nishmosa, which be zachet to call too, and see the eskaltering with them. Reiches, line bekas hareach. Bracha for the sense of smell. We said there's a chiyuv to make a bracha of anything you have hanoah from, hanoah is pleasure of any kind. If you have hanoah from anything, whether it's food, drink, or smell, there is a bracha for it. Now, what is the bracha for smell? Well, this is called reach. Reach is smell, aroma. Bracha is reach toiv. It must be a good reach, not the opposite. How does he make a bracha on a reach toiv? If this reach toiv comes from a fruit which is fit to be eaten, then it's not on reach, but it is on Nosson. It's on a fruit. Nosson reach toiv apedes. This is whether it's a fruit or a vegetable, something which has an unusual smell. For example, a lemon or an esrog. If he eats it, esrog will be taken during the rest of the year, not during Sukkot. Since it is made especially for food to be eaten, the bracha is Asher Nosson reach toiv apedes. This is only if he has kavanah to smell it. This is a very important point. In other words, bracha for reach b'chlal is only if a person does it with a specific intent of smelling it for the sake of pleasure. You smell flowers because you want to have the pleasure of the smell of the flowers. If he wants to eat this lemon, and his kavanah is not specifically for the sake of the smell, even though automatically he smells it, he can't avoid this with the reich of the peda, still there is no necessity to make a bracha on the reich. Same thing too with coffee. Roasted coffee that has a very sharp aroma, tangy aroma. It has a reich toiv. Most people enjoy that smell. If he has intent just to smell it alone, he makes the bracha shos reich toiv apedes. Otherwise, just to drink it, though there is a smell and a chagal on the side, there's no bracha for it. There are different kinds of brachas for reich. If it's an item that comes from a tree, a branch, twig that grows in a tree that has a sharp smell, pine, for example, then he makes a bracha b'nei atzei b'samim. Same thing too with a hadassim, or even a rose which grows on a branch. That too is b'nei atzei b'samim. Anything which grows on the ground like grass, which has a strong smell, then the bracha is b'nei isvei b'samim. Isvei b'samim. And that's, if you note, persons observing, you'll note that there is a similarity here in reich to food. There is the same food. You have that food which grows in a tree, then you have food that grows in the ground, then you have a general food which is shahako. Same thing too with reich. You have b'nei atzei b'samim, that which grows on a tree, b'nei isvei b'samim, that grows on the ground, and then all other types of items, that general items, spices, those are b'nei minei b'samim. That's the comparable to shahako. And if a person has all these three items together, he makes the bracha first atzei b'samim, then isvei b'samim, And then, if a person is ever in doubt, just like in eating too, that tobacco covers everything, but a covers everything. There's one case where a person makes